You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
It's the Thursday edition of Leafs Morning Take presented by Bet365. Nick Alberga, David Pagnotta filling in for Jay Rosehill. Tell you what, the folks in Edmonton not too pleased with me today, Dave, after my sentiments, my thoughts on Ike Howard, no longer Isaac Howard, Ike Howard, newest member of the Edmonton Oilers. How are you on this Thursday?
I'm good. Yeah, you pissed them off, buddy. Like, just because.
I mean, all I did was give an opinion. I said the same shit last year about Cutter Gauthier. Yeah. He hadn't played a game in the league. Now he's at the Anaheim Ducks rotting away. That's a story for a different day. All I said is the cockiness, the act runs out eventually. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, confidence, right? Is it confidence? Is it cockiness? Kid just won the Hobie Baker. They're a little inflated down below, so he's feeling it up top. Whatever. Good for him. He gets to go play or try to play with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So, I'd be swinging it a little bit too.
Yeah, I think part of my issue was you have a team in Tampa and John Cooper, maybe the best coach of all time, maybe on a top 3, top 5 list, and you choose not to play for him. And maybe it puts to bed any conversation about the sales tax, right? Because he goes from Florida, a team they didn't want to sign with, to Edmonton and Canada. And that's a different story. And I'd love to get your opinion on the Oilers too, because they've had an interesting offseason, a lot of Oilers theme on today's podcast with Adam Henrique coming up in about 15 minutes or so. But they're now putting a lot of faith in some younger players like Matt Savoy and Ike Howard, your boy, to lead this team to the promised land. And I, for one, maybe I'm old school, Dave. I believe more in the veterans like Corey Perry, Connor Brown, and others.
Yeah, well, it didn't work, right? It didn't work for a couple of years. So they weren't going to pay Connor Brown, and he cashed in with Jersey. Good for him. They didn't want to give the bonus structure set up for Perry, which I understand. He's in LA now. Kane didn't play all season. He was good in the first bit of the playoffs, then just faded. And Arvidsson was in and out of the lineup. So you've removed some of your grit in exchange for skill. Now, there's still more grit there, which can offset and complement the fact that you're adding more skill. As we know, Nick, and everyone watching, you can't rely exclusively on skill, as we've seen year after year after freaking year. As you start to add a little bit of oomph, things change a little bit. So Edmonton already kind of had that. I like that Howard's going to be given an opportunity to earn it. Like, he's not just, hey, go, like, you're our guy. You're playing alongside Leon. We'll give you a shot. And if you can't figure it out, well, then you go down to, I don't know, wherever the hell their AHL club is and figure it out, or you're going to drop down, in the lineup. But I don't mind what Edmonton's done. I don't know if they're better. I don't think they're worse. But Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard are still their goalies. So I don't know.
Well, that's the biggest concern for me, and I will tell you, producer Vic was some kind of fired up that Andrew Mangiapane elected to not go to Toronto but go to Edmonton. What's your retort to that, Dave?
Well, he clearly feels he has a better shot at a cup in Edmonton than in Toronto. Pretty simple.
Right.
And he's going to have top 6 opportunity as well. He'll probably be on the second line. My guess would be you want to keep Nuge, McDavid, and Hyman together, former Leaf. You're probably going to want to try Howard with Leon and Mangiapane. So I like it. I don't mind. You're adding a little extra skill. You're spreading things out a little bit. You've already got some jam, at least on the back end. I still think they need like another Ekholm on that back end. He's in the final year of his deal. There's still some kinks that need to be worked out with the Oilers. I think depending on what they do the rest of the summer, I want to reserve judgment until we get to camp before I predict where they're going to go or where the Leafs are going to go or the Habs or the Rangers or whomever. Other than Pittsburgh, who they're completely shitting the tank, and I don't even know if that's a term.
It is now.
That's a new one. It is now. Shit in the bed. They're tanking.
There it is.
They, other than them, San Jose will probably still suck, but they're on the up and up with all their talent. It's strategic sucking. They're, on the rebuild. But, all the big boys, I'm going to wait because I still think / hope there's going to be more activity over the course of the summer.
Oh, we're going to get to that, my friend. Our Super Chat charity partner this season is Sick Kids. Want to make sure that your question or comment gets on the show. Hit us up with a Super Chat. Proceeds from our Super Chat will go to Sick Kids, ranked the #1 research-intensive children's hospital in Canada and 3rd in the world. And support us, Sick Kids. Devin Foyston leads us off here with this Super Chat. Much love from Sudbury, Ontario. Watch out for LA to make the Stanley Cup Finals and lose with Perry being on the team. Imagine that happens again, Dave. That is crazy stuff.
That would be that'd be friggin' nuts. Like, I know, like, he's got his cup ring, right? He did it back in 07 with the Ducks, and kind of people forget. But that'd be what, 6 to 7 years, or 8 years, or whatever the hell it's been. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Like, that would suck. I mean, it'd be great for the LA, like, to get back into a cup final, but like that. You'd feel for the guy at that point. Like, I know you got a ring, but holy shit, that was 18 years ago.
Hey, were the Leafs ever in that conversation on July 1 with Perry, or was he always destined for LA or Dallas or someone like that?
I think they poked. I don't know how deep into the conversation it got. Again, the money, like, the reason Edmonton didn't want to do it because they didn't want to cough up those bonuses and then hinder their cap next season if that gets paid out, kind of thing. So, I mean, maybe the Leafs were in the same boat. They got $5 million in space now. They're trying to clear out more. I mean, I know it doesn't. Technically, it could have affected this year if you attribute it, but I mean, I think they poked around, but I don't know how in depth the conversation got. I know a lot of teams poked around, but I don't know again how in depth. I think he just wanted the best opportunity to chase one, and he stays on the West Coast. His wife let him play one more season, according to his son, and he picks LA. So they get to go hang out in Hermosa Beach.
Yeah, there could be worse things. And obviously he's familiar with the area, having played for the Anaheim Ducks all those years. But it's so fascinating to me that, I mean, in a year from now, maybe, 10 months from now, we're going to be talking potentially about LA, Edmonton, round 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And it's Perry against the Oilers, like sort of the rematch. And I never, for one, even thought about Los Angeles being a destination for this guy now going against the Oilers, a sidebar story in that series. But I know you saw the rundown today. I led with where are all the fucking trades? Where are all the trades? I was told this is a busy week and there's going to be fireworks. There's been dick all but your boy Ike Howard going to Edmonton, of course.
I think well, first of all, I think everyone's kind of said it's going to be a busy summer. So there's still a shit ton of time to go. Let's be fair. But it's the same crap like around draft. Like, there's so much talk, and then there's just, push comes to shove, it doesn't happen. And, we thought at the draft, hey, Noah Dobson to the Habs. Boom, firework number 1. That's a huge trade. Let's see what else happens. And then fucking sad trombone. Like, we got nothing. It's not a matter of these teams not trying. Like, the GMs are active. They're having conversations consistently. It's just a matter of pushing all your chips in. And we're still kind of waiting. Now, I still think there's a little trickle effect here with some of these guys. Like, what's going to happen with Bo and Byram? That might affect the D market. Rasmus Anderson kind of waiting in the wings to see what happens there. I mean, other than that, like, it's plus, like, a lot of these guys are master negotiators. So they claim to be. So there's a lot of back and forth, and you gotta play it out, and no one wants to tip their hat, and blah blah blah. So no one wants to go all in right out the gate and show any kind of potential weakness in a negotiation. So I don't know. It's shit or get off the pot for some clubs. The problem is we still have a long runway until camps get going.
And to your point, it feels like not much is out there. Like, I can't even think of a name, and you obviously know better than I do, like, who's actually out there outside of maybe Brian Rust, Ricard Raquel. Like a lot of the heavy damage has been done in terms of trade options. I think Noah Dobson was maybe the biggest name. I think a name I'm sure you're monitoring the next couple of days will be like a Jason Robertson. But like there isn't volume to the market. That's a big thing here too.
Well, there are some names. I mean, like San Jose, they're trying to trade at least one defenseman, so that's out there. Dallas is looking to move Matt Dumba still. That's something. I'm just pulling up a list here.
Yeah.
Jared McCann and Jamie Alexiak, both in Seattle. Those are two guys that the Kraken are still willing to listen on. We thought Connor Murphy would be traded by now from Chicago. That hasn't happened. Pavel Zacha in Boston's name is still out there. They're still fishing around. The Canadians, some teams have been poking around on Brendan Gallagher, on Josh Anderson. Can they get them low if the Habs are trying to free up some money? I don't think Gallagher gets traded, but maybe
No.
Josh Anderson enters the equation. If Columbus does something big, they were willing to trade Voronkov. That's who the Islanders wanted for Dobson in a bigger package. They went with the Habs deal. So the Columbus is looking to do something big. They've got some pieces in place, and we know the Leafs are looking to move guys, right? Like there's Camp, there's Yarncrook, there's Reeves, Robertson to an extent, Domi to an extent. His name's been floating around. And with all this talk about defensemen, it makes no sense to me unless Morgan Riley's out. So, like, I think there's still a lot of fluid discussions around the league. It's just, we want the sexy shit. Like, to quote the great Nick Alberga, someone make a trade.
Anybody. But yeah, I think it's so interesting from the Maple Leafs perspective, and always careful because we know who the GM is here, and he's linked to every damn name, it seems like, on the market. But like the latest is Erik Karlsson's name out there. We talked about Dougie Hamilton the other day. Rosie almost had a coronary. He thought I was trying to say trade Riley for Hamilton. That was not, in fact, what I was trying to say. I was saying you move out Riley. That would be the only way it makes sense to bring in somebody like Karlsson, somebody like Hamilton. But like it's weird to me that they're being linked to defensemen and not forwards, especially when Mitch Marner's now a Vegas Golden Knight. And what has plagued this team in the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's offense. But for some reason, they keep getting linked to defensemen. Do we know why that is? Is there something up with Morgan Riley we don't know maybe?
Look, I haven't heard anything personally with respect to Erik Karlsson. Even at half, so he's got a $10 million cap hit right now. It's 11.5 overall. San Jose's eating 1.5. Even at $5 million, I guess I would take him. Like,
yeah.
But I don't see a fit there because you're going to have to move somebody out. Now to trade, I know Brandon Carlo's name's everywhere, but to give up what you did to Boston, to trade Minton and package that up, to then flip Brandon Carlo, unless you're getting a top six winger, doesn't make much sense to me. You want to bring in Erik Karlsson at, let's say, $5 million, cool. Like, did you watch what he did in Four Nations? He was one of the best defensemen. Put him out of that environment in that sinking ship in Pittsburgh right now, because all eyes are geared towards Gavin McKenna. Like he's gonna suck. Like he didn't. Like he had solid numbers, but for his capabilities, he wasn't near it. So yeah, he would benefit. Like a team like Toronto would benefit having Erik Karlsson. But where the hell are you playing him? Right? Like where are you giving him the minutes that's going to allow him to succeed? Like he put up 100 and whatever points in San Jose because nobody else was playing on that team. So he was playing 25 minutes a night. Right? Like if you want to exploit his capabilities, you got to give him the ice time. I don't know if Erik Karlsson fits Chiefs' system. So look, I'm not shitting on it. I just don't know. I haven't heard. Like a lot of people hear a lot of stuff that I don't. So maybe there's been a discussion, or maybe there's been a poking around or something like that. But I'm with you, Nick. Like the Leafs, even if they trade somebody, and even if they're now, I think there was a brief discussion at exit meetings with Morgan Riley saying, "Where are you at? You got a full no move. Where's your head at?" How that conversation went fully, I don't know, but I'm led to believe, according to the people I talked to, that type of discussion happened. whether you're moving out Riley or you're moving out other pieces, they don't have a number one right winger, technically, because of the way you're positioning it, right? Because Nylander is going to be with Tavares. And I assume Michelli's going to be on that left side. That's where I would put him at. I know he wants to play or get a shot with Austin, and maybe it works out. Cool, you throw him on the right. But for me, I'm putting him with JT and with Willie. So you still need a right winger on that side. Is it Easton Cowan? Maybe, but they're still looking for somebody to add to that top six. Is it Roslovic that they bring in just because he's familiar with Austin? I don't know, but all the defenseman talk, like their decor was a hell of a lot better last season than it was in previous years. You just lost a 102-point player. You have to do it by committee. I get it. But like that's where the priority should be, not the back end, in my opinion.
Yeah, you got to fill those regular season numbers. Stanley Cup playoffs, I mean, easier to fill, as we both know in that conversation. But yeah, if it's Jack Roslovic, I don't know. And maybe it just speaks to the scarcity of the market. I know I heard more about that conversation earlier today. I believe it was Chris Johnston who brought it up, where it's like the ball's almost in Toronto's court. But I mean, it's no secret right now, Dave. They got bodies to move out, right? That's a big conversation too.
Yeah, well, they do. I mean, they have $5 million in space, but
yeah,
they have 3 extra guys. They have 5 lines right now of NHL caliber talent. So
yeah,
you got to move somebody.
Definitely. At the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. One of our first of 2 interviews coming up, excuse me, in 2 minutes here. Michael Pezzetta is also coming on. Me and Rosie interviewed Pazetta the other day, so that interview is coming up in its entirety in about 20 minutes from now. Leafs Morning Take, wherever you find your podcast, make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Also, don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. The following interview/segment is brought to you by our good friends over at Greta Bar YYZ, the ultimate hangout spot in Toronto. Whether you're catching the big game, diving into some classic arcade action, or grabbing some unreal street food, Greta Bar's got you covered. For more info, head on over to gretabar.com. That's gretabar.com. 590 King Street West, Greta Bar. Let the games begin. We're just looking to connect here in moments with Adam Henrique. I should mention as well, July 14th coming up on Monday at the Monthill Golf and Country Club. Henrique and Brandon Montour of the Seattle Kraken will host the 5th annual Henrique Montour Golf Classic in support of local charities. Dave, I know you're a big fan of charity golf tournaments, right?
Yes. We do our own every year as well, and it's a lot of fun. And I've heard great things about the Henrique and Montour Classic. So I'm sure they do a hell of a job every year from everybody that some guys that come to ours go to theirs, and they have a blast too. So that's awesome.
I believe the connection's a bit rusty. We'll try our best here as we bring in Edmonton Oilers forward Adam Henrique. Rico, can you hear us? Are you in Mars, at Mars, Pluto? Where are you today, buddy?
The wilderness, it looks like.
Okay, yeah. We'll try to connect with Rico in mere moments here to set up this golf tournament, talk some Oilers as well, talk about the offseason. Connection's a bit wonky. I get it. Guys are in different spots of the world this time of year. But yeah, golf tournaments are always fun. Still waiting for our official invite to this one, but it's always good to get the guys out in the course. And I think you sort of humanize the situation as well, Dave, where it's like it's a grind all year long, and these guys get some time here in the offseason to decompress, have a couple pops, and chill out. And it's a lot of the work they do behind the scenes. Like we see it a lot in Toronto, the guys in Edmonton. I know Zach Hyman had his golf tournament the other day. The guys giving back to the community. I mean, you and I see it quite a bit where it's like they give back to the community. It's not necessarily something fans see quite a bit of.
No, and it's a big commitment. Like I know you have people that help run the tournament and whatnot, but it's a big commitment for these guys to, like, their off season is a combo of you're back with family and you have to quickly prep for next season, right? Like there's not a lot of time off. You go on vacay and you're there with your friends and family, and to dedicate extra time to stuff like this, the charity component to it, you want to make sure it's a success, right? You want to try to benefit them as best as you can, and these guys dedicate their time and efforts into participating in it. It's a hell of a day. It's a fun day, but it's a lot of work on the back end leading up to it. And these guys, they make sure they dedicate time to make sure that it goes off without a hitch.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes. I should mention as well, proceeds from this event benefit organizations and initiatives that support children's sports, recreation, and wellness activities in the county of Brant, city of Brantford, and Six Nations of the Grand River. And I thought it was interesting a couple years ago, too, with Brandon Montour being on Florida. These guys went toe-to-toe in the Stanley Cup final, and I'd love to ask Rico, playing somebody who you went to high school with in the pinnacle, the Stanley Cup final, I think would be so interesting, where you look across the ice and you're like, holy shit, we're squaring off for the Holy Grail here. But I think from that perspective, I think it's cool to come together both as national leaguers for a tournament like this, Dave.
Yeah, that's cool. Like you grow up with your boy, you're doing stuff like this that obviously you guys are still tight and whatnot, and you chirp back and forth throughout the season, see where everybody's at, and then you meet up in the cup final. Like that's cool. It's like, all right, we're boys, this is cool, but sorry, buddy, I want to kick your ass. And it's vice versa, right? Like, it's you go back and forth on that one. Florida, by the way, side note, Mackie Semisevich, 1 year contract for him, 775. So that's happening as we're doing this.
That was a target I wanted, Mackie Samoskevich. I believe we do have Rico on better Wi-Fi. We're gonna try this. And
can you hear me?
We got you.
There we go.
Where are you? Where are you? Just break this down for us, please.
I'm up in Muskoka, so the connection's not too great. I'm running around trying to get the better Wi-Fi for you.
Hey, I appreciate that, Rico. Thank you so much for doing this. Great to see that ugly mug of yours. Firstly, let's tee up the golf tournament, man. Coming up on Monday, it's the Henrique Montour Golf Classic in support of local charities. What can you tell us about that tourney?
Yeah, so it'll be our 5th year doing it, and it's been a huge success so far. We got so much support from back home, and everybody that supported us through our careers have generously come out and donated their time and their money too to local areas that we can help improve for kids in Brant County and the Six Nations of the Grand River as well. So it's been a way bigger success than I ever could have imagined. And honestly, it's kind of hats off to everybody behind the scenes who does everything for us, and we just show up for
it. You're doing it with your good buddy, Brandon Montour. Just talk about that relationship and how that's evolved from childhood onto, you're battling for a couple of years ago and doing this tournament together.
Yeah, so we became good buddies when we played together in Anaheim, and Brandon actually went to high school with one of my brothers. So I didn't really know him until our Anaheim time together, and then we became pretty close and have obviously become closer buddies and over the years. And this was just something that we had kind of discussed over time, and if there was a way for us to be able to set up and give back to areas back home, that we would love to do so. And with the help of family members, that are on our small board that kind of do all the work, like I said, and put everything together, this is what has come of that. So hopefully we'll be able to do it for years to come. And it's been a huge success and something that we're both very proud of.
The biggest question I can ask you today, and I referenced Dave hosting a golf tournament. Dave can't golf. He tries to golf. Can you golf, Rico? That's the big question.
Yeah.
You were.
I can golf.
Give it a chance.
I've seen the videos, Zach Hyman. He can't golf either and host. So you don't have to be able to golf to host a golf tournament. That's the number one rule. But I'm okay. There's no time. I haven't golfed at all this summer. We got two little girls running around keeping us busy at home. So there's very limited time to actually get out and golf.
You talked about the team that you have and that helps you guys run the tournament and make sure that it goes off perfectly. How big is that team, and what are some of what do you get involved in when you can to help make sure that this goes off well?
So my sister-in-law, Lisa, and Brandon, good buddy of Brandon's, Brendan Painter, and Monty's mom are on our board, and they kind of do the day-to-day of organizing and being in touch with sponsors and people and filling up the spots and kind of reaching out to they run our website, where people are able to write in and ask for, donations or what they have going on or projects around the city, that sort of thing. So it's really a big family foundation, really. And, we've done it 5 years now. We get a lot of the same people that come back year after year after year. And they're all familiar faces from back home, which is awesome. So, whether it's my brother's golfing or cousins or Monty's cousins all coming out, they come out every single year and have a ton of fun. So that's also what makes it more special. And then, for us, I think it's just a matter of giving back to young kids to get into sports. So like Burford Minor Hockey, the Six Nations Minor Hockey, we do a police buddies program out on the reserve. And then even back to our high school that we both went to, we support some scholarship foundations for both female and male athletes of the year. There's just a ton of stuff. Last year we did new gymnastic mats for the Burford dance girls and boys. So just really anything that we can give back to around the community, we try to help. Playgrounds at schools, there's a skate park we donated to, just a number of little things. So there's not, one specific charity that we donate to. We try to spread it out over a number of different areas that we can help improve.
Rico, what's a typical offseason look like for you? I know a lot different now that you're going to the playoffs every year as opposed to maybe with your days with the Anaheim Ducks. How often are you on the tobacco farm? I know Elliot Friedman likes to bring that up every podcast, how you and your tobacco farm and your family.
Well, I'm not on the farm very often anymore.
See?
So
there you go.
It's, I get a lot of hype on that, but that's all my old man. He's still running the farm and working on the farm. I'm not there very often. So especially the last two off seasons, they're so short. We're up in Muskoka now, and this has been our first 2 summers. So again, we've been scrambling to move in here and get organized and all this stuff, and it seems like we're just driving around a little bit with our head cut off at times. So it's fun being up here to try and relax and kick back, but it is nice to kind of be out of the city and up here where it's just, it's so enjoyable to be.
And how often, when you get your training going, how often are you in the gym, on the ice? What's that? Because I know you got there are a bunch of boys out there that you can skate with and work out with, but how often are you usually gym, ice? How's that work for you?
Yeah, so I just started back again this week training, and it's kind of light into it, but again, we're so crunched for time, you kind of have to expedite things. And Brandon and I we work out together here at my place. We got a gym here, which is nice. Everything that you try to make sure that there's everything you need here to be able to do everything that is needed, and then. I'll probably start skating in another couple of weeks. Sam Gagne runs the Muskoka hockey group up here, and there's a lot of NHL guys that go out to it, which is great because it just makes the quality of skates better. And again, it's just trying to make sure that you have everything around you to prepare for another season. And he's really done a good job of, applying, his expertise and really pushing guys to come up and skate and make sure, because he knows firsthand, what everybody needs to prepare.
Yeah, I mean, the turnaround's really, really quickly, especially after, playing in long postseason runs yet again. We were just talking before he came on about Corey Perry ending up in Los Angeles. How weird's that going to be for you, being teammates with Perry, and now he's on the opposition? And, dude, we could be staring down a first-round matchup again, LA and Edmonton, of course.
Oh yeah, I mean, you may as well lock it in already, I guess. But Pears is. I played with him in Anaheim too. He's a great teammate. He's a guy that's willing to do everything, willing to do all the hard things, and he's there. Off the ice, he's one of the first guys there every day. He's in the gym. He's doing what he needs to do. I'm learning as you're getting older in this game, like you have to do like more and make sure you're on top of everything in order to perform on the ice. And he's a guy that does that every single day. He knows what he needs to do in order to to be a difference maker for a team. And he's not, you can see over the past number of years, he's not afraid to accept any kind of role on a team to be a part of that team. And then he's effective in that too. I mean, he had a great playoff, and, I'm not shocked that a team like LA wanted him. I think teams that play against him in the playoffs, they see how valuable he is. And if they get a chance to bring him in, they do. And, he's done it for a very long time, and he just, I don't know if there's an end in sight for that guy.
Yeah, getting up there, but a lot of guys the careers are elongating even more going into the 40s. You touched on it, obviously being in Anaheim, now in Edmonton the last couple of years. What's that adjustment been for you personally, and just market wise, a little bit quieter in Orange County versus Alberta? But how wild has that experience been, playing in front of the crowd up there in Edmonton?
Well, I mean, it's been great. That was something that I'd never really experienced in my career until I was traded there. And then again, a big part of the reason to re-sign and go back. Obviously, the team's been great every year and makes playoff runs, which is awesome to be a part of. But to be able to play in front of the fans that we have every night, it's great. And it can be a difference maker. And you see how important the game is to everyone there. And, around the city and stuff, people just they just love the Oilers. And there's no, they're just like another player for how much they love that. I had great fans in New Jersey and great fans in Anaheim, but it's on a different level. And, you've been there in playoffs, and it's just crazy. It's got to be the loudest building in playoffs, and everything that goes into it, and how much the community and the fans get behind the team is special. And that doesn't happen everywhere the way it happens in Edmonton.
Rico, in these parts, as you know, we cover the Maple Leafs. So a lot of the dialogue after they lose in Game 7 again, this time in round 2 to the Panthers, was about the market pressure. Do you subscribe to that? Do you believe that, even as an outsider? I mean, you're familiar with the area as well, and also you're familiar with the whole story in Edmonton. Like, it's really, really loud, and obviously, people are very passionate about their team.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I grew up in the area, so you kind of understand. Again, what it means to be a Maple Leaf compared to same as an Oiler, like what it means to people, and they bleed that team. And it's every single night, what everybody's doing. Everybody knows what the team is doing, what the guys are doing. And, the pressure part of it, I don't know. I think you can, there's guys that there's more pressure on. And you see the certain guys that are in the media every single day, and they have to talk and do all these sorts of things. And, it can add up. I'm a depth guy in Edmonton, so I don't have to do as much, or, maybe there's not as much pressure. But again, as an athlete, you have to be able to put that pressure on yourself to perform, and try to be a difference maker in a positive way, really every single night. Because, again, there's always guys that are coming for your job, and you learn as you go that it is a job at the end of the day, but you have to prepare, or you have to perform. And fans expect that just the same as you should expect it as a player. And it's something that I think as a player that too you can embrace and really fall in love with that city. So I think it's just one of the things that every single player probably deals with a little bit differently.
Yeah, fair enough. And I know I've been trying to lure you to Toronto for like 10 years, and they're like, fuck, Nick, you would just be too hard on me, and I can't handle that. And Rico, I understand that, but there's one thing I did want to ask you before we wrap here. The new CBA, dude, had me chuckling. Like, the whole fitness testing thing, like, and maybe it just shows my age being mid-30s, like, the level of entitlement these days is hilarious to me. But the dress code is what caught me. What are the chances that 98% of the league still wears a suit, and will you deviate from wearing a suit, Rico?
Well, I get enough flack because I wear like the same two every time. And so, I don't have. If you can find me a clothing deal, then I'll wear something else. But I've been on that side of not buying new suits because I have about 10 or 20 in the closet here that I haven't even busted out. So. I bet you most guys will still wear suits. Again, it's like if you want to see me walk in my regular clothes, then nobody's going to be impressed. And they're going to think this guy's an athlete, that kind of thing. So I catch enough flack for my fashion in Edmonton from the boys and also my wife too. So we'll see. Maybe if some fashion deals come my way, then I won't be wearing a suit.
Can I get you to wear someone make a trade T-shirt, Nick Alberga special? Could that ever happen?
Yeah, well, you never know. You never know. I'm always listening in the car ride to the rig too. What's going on? That's how I stay in touch with what's going on around the league.
I know you do. I know you do.
Just don't wear that shirt near Stan.
Hey, dude, the GMs love me because I embrace trades. I get it. I just wanted to wrap by asking you about your father-in-law. Like, I know I bring this up every time, but it is a Leaf show. Stumpy Thomas. That's so cool. What's he like? Do you lean on him for advice, or?
Yeah, I mean, at times, he's a guy that's been through it all, and same as me, and so it's nice to be able to have him there to talk to somebody that's been through it. Now, he's just one of the guys. Like, he's just there. It's like the hockey players, even in retirement, they're still the same. They just love to have a good time, love to chat, love to be around everybody, and he's been an awesome grandpa, and I think that's been a highlight for him the last few years, and that's where we lean on them quite a bit. They come out to Edmonton. They were in Anaheim too. Helping us out a lot with the kids and that sort of thing, and even here in Muskoka and Toronto as well. So he certainly comes in handy a lot for me up here and watching the kids and just being grandpa, which is awesome.
Wicked. So coming up again on Monday, July 14th, 5th Annual Henrique Montour Golf Classic in support of local charities. Appreciate your time today. Have a great rest of your summer. We'll talk soon, okay?
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you having me on.
No worries. Take care. There's Adam Henrique of the Edmonton Oilers teeing up the tourney that's coming up on Monday. Now, Muskoka boy, I love that. But he found a great patch of Wi-Fi, dude. He was buzzing. He was dialed in there, Dave.
He was he on a hike? It looked like there was the trees in the background and shit. Like he was hunting something or going fishing or just I don't know. But yeah, it's you got to find the right spots when you're up there in Muskoka, and a lot of boys go up there. A lot of the guys now have their cottages and they spend their summers there and they train and they do all that. So it's a good little community for a lot of those guys.
Thank you very much once again. Yeah, that's fair. And I think that's the only problem out there is like you're in the bush, man. There's not much cooking in terms of data and Wi-Fi, but it's a good place to disconnect a bit. So very thankful, Adam Henrique, for making some time here to come on Leafs Morning Take to tee up the tournament, talk about the offseason a bit. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to now shift our focus back to the Toronto Maple Leafs and one of the newest signings, Michael Pezzetta. Me and Rosie had a chance to talk to him the other day. I wear my Italy jersey. I said the word Italian about 73 times, so enjoy this. This is Michael Pezzetta. Paz, first off, thank you so much for doing this. I'm going to ask you about joining the Toronto Maple Leafs, but firstly, I got to ask you about the growing Italian contingent here with the Toronto Maple Leafs with Vinny Lettieri, Mattias Michelli's got some Italian in him, and now you. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, whenever you can get some good, hardworking Italians, it's always a good start. So it's nice to see some fellow countrymen.
Hey, why'd you cut the flow?
I donated it at the end of not last season, the season before, and just figured growing it out for so long, it went to a good cause, and I raised some money for it. So just kind of happened.
Sounds pretty good, man. Good deal. What this summer's in full swing. You've got some big news here recently. You're a Toronto Maple Leaf. Take us through the emotions that went through you when you found out that news.
Yeah, still got to pinch myself sometimes. I mean, as a kid growing up, I was a Leafs fan through and through, and just to get that opportunity, it was just so exciting for me. I was just at the practice rink today. Went for a little twirl on the ice and just walking around even just the practice room and putting that practice sweater on for the first time is just still cool, and I'm just excited for the opportunity. Yeah.
Obviously around fellow teammates, players a lot, and it's interesting you brought up the practice rink because that's brought up a lot around July 1. Is it your sense that players care a lot about like the practice facility and how important that is to sort of the day-to-day grind of the season?
I mean, I guess it's always better if it's a nicer facility. You feel more comfortable and you're able to just focus on hockey. But I can't say that really played a part in what happened. But yeah, it was there today, and it's definitely a nice facility. And it seems like they take really good care of the guys.
It came out that you were a bit of a Leafs fan growing up, which I don't think some people knew, especially seeing you in the Habs jersey. What era did you like? What were some of your favorite players and memories growing up?
Yeah, so for me growing up, Matt Sundin was always my favorite player, and then my brother was a big Gary Roberts fan. So growing up, he always wore number 7, and I always wore number 13. Um, Obviously, I think they're both retired now, so can't slip in any of those. But no, I love watching them play. All my buddies are always fans, and I think they're just as excited as I am. One of my buddies is actually a Habs fan, so he was fired up when I was on the Habs. But now the rest of the boys are like, I can finally cheer for my team, so it's exciting.
It's funny you brought that up because all season long, the number 67 kept popping up here in Toronto. And as you know, the former captain of the Montreal Canadiens, Max Pacioretty, as a Maple Leaf, like, was that even weird to see? Like, you don't see that very often. Of course, there's the whole Josh Georges case from, back in the day where he sort of nixed a trade to Toronto. Did that ever cross your mind? Maybe a bit different, obviously, because you were a Leafs fan growing up, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was just an opportunity to come home. I feel like I just couldn't turn that down. That was too exciting for me and for my family, and just to be able to work hard and get the opportunity to put that sweater on, I think it'll mean so much to me. So I'm just excited for that. And yeah, when I got that opportunity, it was a no-brainer.
Hey, I was just curious. Have you talked to Chief yet or not?
I had a little chat with him. I just said welcome to the team and that sort of stuff. Seems like a coach that I'd like to play for. Appreciates guys that play hard, and I'd love to just kind of bring that and bring who I am to the team. And yeah, I'm excited for that.
So, Pez, when we broke down the signing here, you coming to Toronto, I don't know why, but AJ Greer came to mind with the Florida Panthers. We saw it firsthand against the Leafs, man. He really carved out a role for himself on that fourth line. What's your mentality with camp coming up in the next couple months? And is that sort of a type of player that you're looking at sort of producing on a daily basis and being that type of guy here for the Maple Leafs?
Yeah, I definitely think I have the skill to produce and to play hockey. And then obviously, I play the game hard. I'm going to finish every check and make the other team's life difficult. I think that's my X factor. But I also have the skill to be able to play and the pace to be able to keep up with today's game. So yeah, I think you see more and more now teams are going a little bit heavier with their fourth line, or you need to be able to play hard to win. And I think that kind of plays right into my style.
Yeah, I think it does. Your style and Chief's style as well. Another guy within the organization who's been around forever. When I was playing, he was playing, and he just doesn't seem to leave. But maybe he takes a step back this year. Maybe he doesn't. But the fact is, he's in the organization. You're going to see him in Ryan Reeves. I know you've come around him a lot and had some battles. Is it going to be nice to be part of the same club as him this year?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know how it is. You battle on the ice, and those tend to be the guys that are the nicest guys off the ice. And definitely have a lot of respect for a guy that's done that job for as long as he has. I think he's played like 900 games or something like that. I think I would love to have any part of that career. So that sounds pretty great. But yeah, definitely just get to learn from him, hopefully, and yeah, get to know him.
When I started working with Rosie a couple years ago, like one of the very first questions I asked him, like, who did you like love watching scrap growing up? Were there some fighters who stood out for you that you sort of wanted to model the way you fought after, like growing up in terms of watching on a daily basis?
Yeah, I can't say I was a young guy watching guys fight and trying to model my fighting style after them. I was still at a point where I thought I could score goals for a living, but no, later on, I always like watching guys like Lucic fight, Wayne Simmons, just guys like big power forwards that could play the game, but also throw down when they had to. So some of those guys, yeah.
And
Andrew Shaw,
I
liked
know.
him too.
Yeah, some good solid picks right there. But you know, A lot of talk in Leafland, coming up short in certain ways. I think it's no secret that Tree Living's trying to beef the team up a little bit, and they've been missing some things. Sure, they've put up some points in the regular season, had some good seasons, but they're missing that. Are you aware of that? I know you've got your own career going on. You're playing for your own team, but this team's lacked some jam. People have been calling for the older days of, Darcy Tucker and Wendell, and of course, it's not going to go back to that level, but are you conscious that a player like you could really make some noise in this market and really get the fans behind you?
Yeah, I think I'm aware of it. I think for myself, I always just try to be me. That's high energy, whether that's in the room or on the ice, and just kind of bring that jam. And I think you see the way Florida winning. Obviously, their fourth line played hard, but I think you have to play hard to be successful in today's game. And for me, I'm just trying to do everything I can to make sure I have a roster spot come the start of the season, and I'm sure the rest of that stuff will just fall into place because they have a great hockey team, and I'm just trying to find a role for sure.
It's no secret that 24-25 was a bit of a grind for you personally. What are some things you can take away? Because the one thing I did notice, you were ready on a nightly basis when you went in there. You provided jam. You played with intensity and pace. So what can you take away from this past season in Montreal?
Yeah, I think I just learned a lot about myself and what it means to be a good teammate. When you're not going in the lineup, it's easy to feel bad for yourself. But at the end of the day, if you do that, you're just going to dig yourself a bigger hole. So I just kind of showed up to the rink every day with a positive attitude, tried to be a positive presence in the room, whether that was pushing culture or just being someone that guys wanted to be around. Even if it wasn't so easy to just put a smile on my face at the rink, sometimes it's just something I had to do. And I think looking back at that, the guys appreciated that. And I learned a lot about just being mentally tough and something I can carry on to the rest of my life and the rest of my career.
So be honest. So the parents / family laying down the gauntlet already. How often do they expect you back during the season for dinner, lunch, all that stuff?
Oh yeah, good Italian boy. I was just looking around at some areas downtown. If I had to move out of the house, and my mom sent me a text yesterday. She's like, just so you know, you can just stay here all season. I'll cook for you, do whatever you need. And I'm like, Ma, I gotta get out of here. But no, it's funny. A good Italian mom. She wants to just take care of me. But yeah, definitely might have to part ways.
Yeah, that's fair. I always get that conversation too. Every time I go home, you got to leave already. I've been there for 5-6 hours. You understand it as well. I'm curious as well, because I told you off the air, I was born in Montreal. I grew up here in Oakville and Toronto in this area. You're obviously the other way. How would you compare and contrast sort of the Italian contingent there and the Italian contingent here? I feel it's a bit different.
Between Montreal and Toronto?
Yeah, there's a strong Italian core there, isn't there?
Yeah, they got a great Italian culture there too. I actually had a bunch of cousins and stuff that lived in Montreal, so
Yeah.
I know when I had was drafted there, they were super excited and spent some time with them while I was in Montreal. And yeah, I think there's a great culture in both places. I live in a little Italian community here. We're centered around our bakery, Rustic Bakery, and yeah, I like that. I think growing up, that was something that meant a lot to me. Getting together, doing sugo and making sausages and stuff like that. I think it's just good culture and something I appreciated growing up.
I'm sure your mom's got great cooking. I say the same about my mom. Do you got a favorite dish that you love to have?
Yeah, probably lasagna. It's my favorite dish, and if you're lucky, sometimes I'll spark one out for the boys. Just kind of have a nice dinner, have everybody over. I've done it over the years in Montreal, and usually like to say it's probably hope it's one of the best I've ever had. But I do cheat. I just use my mom's sauce, but then put it together from scratch. But that's probably the hardest part.
I love that. Mine's tiramisu. That'd be awesome. Team tiramisu. Bring it in for the boys. Pez, can't thank you enough for doing this. Congratulations once again. Welcome home. We look forward to seeing you in the fall. Okay.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
There you have it. Michael Pezzetta of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I did ask him 53 questions about being Italian because I'm just so damn proud. I think that's sick. They got Vinny Lettieri. They got Mattias Michelli, who's 1/8 Italian. The takeover is real, Dave.
Hey, what we should do is we should set up a nice sugo day in training camp. Get a nice sugo day going. We can I know it's a little later. Normally it's end of August. We could do, you know what? We could do wine, but that would have to be behind the scenes. Nobody could see that one.
Man, it's true. And it's funny because like Vic and Rosie were laughing because when he left after, I was like, ciao. And it's funny how quickly you can really turn Italian when you talk to an Italian. I'm the same with you. Me and you use that lingo all the time. But when we talk, it's just like broadcasters. It's just a lot different. I don't know. Comfort.
It comes out. It's natural.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah.
it comes out. You step outside in the sun for 40 minutes, you get a great tan. You go out to the restaurant, you're walking along the streets, you say something to somebody, and then just the accent starts to come out a little bit. And then it's all Sugo all the time.
For Dave personally, having been out with him 3,000 times and known him for a long time, you get the 3 buttons undone, it's game over for Pagnotta on King Street West. I've seen that way too many times. Actually.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. If it goes below 3, then someone's in one.
Yeah. There's 3 Madones out of 3 after that. But I appreciate Michael Pezzetta for dropping by today's show. It's time now for the last call, brought to you by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in the game. Use code NATION. That's NATION, NATION. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit ConnexOntario.ca. You can go anywhere with this. I don't think the Blue Jays are playing today. Maybe they are. But
they are not.
Anywhere you want to go, whether it's a division title, anywhere you want to look with your bet today.
I'm going. I got Red Sox over the Rays today, so I'm going with that, and at least one Soto complaint. That's what I'm doing. I don't know if that's on the board, but at least one thing that he bitches about. And then Red Sox over Rays.
We have a mutual group chat, me, you, and Dennis Bernstein, and I think once a week I'm like, I think pitchers should just start throwing at Soto's kneecaps. Like that whole shuffle shit, it drives me insane. I think it comes full circle to the swag conversation, but a lot different with Juan Soto than your boy Ike Howard. I will say that.
Yeah, well, the dollar value is also a little bit different too, but I don't think Ike is getting a suite inside Rogers Place, whereas Juan Soto's got a luxury hotel inside of whatever the hell they're called, MetLife what is it called? City Life, Citi Field.
I only know Yankee Stadium. There's only one New York team for me. I don't subscribe to the New York Mets. I think they're the biggest bust in Major League Baseball history, and they're not going to win shit with Juan Soto or anybody else for that matter. But Dave, excellent job.
Yep.
We'll leave it at that. Always have an opinion on this podcast, which is great. Thank you to our guests, Adam Henrique and Michael Pezzetta. Any final words? I'm just sitting here waiting for something from Brad Treliving. Is he at the cottage already? Is it done or what?
He might be, but he's still working the line, so you never know. I'm going to make a nice caprese salad and then make a plate of pasta. So I'm going to stay on that train. Little pasta primavera.
Yeah, the best part about this is that before the show, Dave and I were talking about going to a Luke Bryan concert tonight. Find me a country
I know, that's
fan.
the other thing. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and I mean, personally, I'm also a big fan of the clientele.
Well, yeah, it's like picture this: a big crowd of maybe 10,000 people. 8,000 of them are Connor McDavid. In terms of,
I mean, that's not necessarily whom I'm
you know what
referring
I mean.
to, but yes. Well, look, it honestly, I'm not the biggest country music fan, but I've been to a variety. We've been to a few. It is a lot of fun. It's fun. You go up in the lawns, you have a good time, you enjoy yourself, say hi to a few people. Blue jeans tonight. Blue jeans.
We'll see if we get there. Sir Bob Laws, it's so right of you to chirp us. Luke Bryan, ? These guys aren't Italian. I concede. I wave. So again, thank you to our guests. Very special edition, Elise Morning Take coming up for the Friday edition. I got producer Vic Paladian in the saddle as my co-host. And this guy has been keeping under wraps for 3 months some hot and heavy Leafs takes. I know he's behind the scenes usually. He's going to be on air just venting and going over Mangiapane. And there was a couple things about Mitch Marner he wanted to bring up. I think we're going to play some Take It or Leave It tomorrow. It's probably the can't miss episode of the summer because producer Vic is co-hosting tomorrow. So make sure you tune into that. But Dave, excellent job, and we'll talk soon, okay?
All right, see ya.
Love it. At the Leafs Nation 401, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Leafs Morning Take, wherever you find your podcasts. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And don't forget to visit theleafsnation.com. Thank you to producer Vic once again. For Dave Pagnotta, I'm Nick Alberga. We'll talk tomorrow. Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long-form interviews. We got clips. We got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.